Hi, I'm Joseph Phillips. Welcome back to the channel, where today I want to share with you a message about quality. Everyone talks about quality, but very few people actually define what quality is. Well, the dictionary definition of quality is an essential or distinctive characteristic, property or attribute, character or nature as belonging to or distinguishing a thing. There's also the ISO definition of quality, which is the one that I really like, and that's the totality of an entity that bears on its ability to satisfy stated or implied needs. So if we think that through, the totality of an entity is everything about this product or service that bears on its ability. So the ability of that thing to perform, to deliver its value, its purpose, to meet stated, that would be our requirements, or implied needs. So we get into those non-functional requirements, any of those IDs like security and stability and usability. Those are all part of quality. Quality to some extent is esoteric because quality means different things to different people. That's why it's so important to have a clear understanding, a clear expectation of what quality is in a project. So quality is aligned with value, with scope, and priorities. Let's talk about value first. Whenever we talk about value in project management, we're talking about why. Why is this project being done? What is the reason? What is the thing, that desired future state that our project will create? The business value is tied directly to quality. That if we create a project and that product, the thing that we create, does not satisfy the reason why, then we really have business value. So we want to understand why the project's being done first. Then we have the scope. That quality is a conformance to requirements, that it's fit for use. So we need a clearly defined scope and an understanding of what that desired future state should look like. And that's true in a predictive project or in an agile project. And yes, in agile, the scope may change over time, but we have a clear understanding of what are we creating? What is the point of doing the project? And then we have the priorities. Now, the priorities are the shifting goals, the shifting objectives that our different stakeholders have. So we think about people in different departments or how they use the thing that we create, or different lines of business. They're going to have different priorities about the thing that we're creating, about that desired future state. So we have to look at quality from the perspective of all of our different stakeholders. And yes, some stakeholders are more important than others. Quality needs to be really defined. We can't let it be interpreted. So we want to stay away from subjective terminologies like fast and good and reliable. How do you quantify? Well, what is fast? What is good? What is reliable? So we're talking about really nailing down the requirements so that we can conform to those requirements, and what are the features and functions that will affect its ability to satisfy stated and implied needs. Sometimes people mistake quality and grade. Grade is really a ranking or a classification of a good or a service. So for example, first class versus coach. You can have quality in both of those. The experience is not the same, the service is not the same, but you're paying for a higher level of grade or a lower level of grade. Low quality is always a problem. Low grade may not be. Also think about, when we think about materials, oak versus plywood. Plywood may be perfectly fine for this activity, but oak may be too expensive and a waste, so it's not appropriate. So it's not always best to choose, what's the highest grade. We choose the grade of a product or a service that's appropriate for that requirement, that's appropriate for its purpose. So quality can exist in all grades. Grade and quality are not the same thing. I like to say that quality and scope are interrelated, that if we meet scope, exactly what was promised, we are going to meet quality. So quality is a conformance to requirements. So requirements are defined in scope. Quality is a conformance to scope, that we don't underpromise and underdeliver, and we certainly don't underpromise and overdeliver. But a lot of people say, oh, I want to underpromise and overdeliver. That's actually, we're delivering more than what the customer asked for. That's like using oak when plywood would have been appropriate. That we need to know exactly what we are to deliver so that we can exactly deliver quality. The challenge that we have, or the problem that is presented when we over-deliver, that can be perceived as gold plating. Gold plating is really when we have monies left in the budget and we just burn those up rather than surrender those, that we're gold plating things. It's not of quality. Quality is conformance to requirements. And then we have this idea as well of scope creep, that if we over-deliver, that can be perceived as scope creep, because this is what I was to create for this much money and this much time. And scope creep are those tiny changes, even if they're good changes, that we perceive them as PMs or our team, we perceive those as good changes. It's circumventing our change control process. It's circumventing integrated change control. And so that can be really perceived as waste, that we don't want that to happen. So to achieve quality, we first have to be in agreement and define what quality is and define quality expectations from our customer, which is scope. We need to have the correct tools and processes and skills and ability to do the activities to deliver quality. We must have a balance of time, of cost, and scope, but also risk. We have to consider the risk. Whenever there's a risk, how does that threaten quality? And I have a video coming up where we'll talk more about risk. There are two terms you should know as a project manager. We have QA and QC. QA is quality assurance. That's our upfront planning to ensure that quality is built into the project, that we want to do the work correctly the first time. QC is after we've done the work, it's inspection driven, that we want to inspect the work to ensure that quality exists. The goal of QC is to keep mistakes out of the customer's hands. So QA is prevention driven and QC is inspection driven. All right, great. Just a quick overview of quality, give you some insight into quality as you go through your projects. If you have suggestions for other videos you'd like to see on this channel, give me a like, subscribe to this channel, and leave some comments below and I'll create videos specifically for you. In the meantime, keep moving forward.